thought you were Joe. She's been avoiding me ever since she got back from New York.
Well, I can't imagine why. Most women like it when men scream suddenly and lunge in their dark corners.
I'm sorry. I'm getting desperate, that's all. What are you all happy about?
I've got big news, but you can't tell Joe.
That shouldn't be too hard.
Aunt Martha's taking me to Europe.
But isn't she supposed to take Joe?
Yes, but they always fight, and these past 2 months while Joe's been in New York, and I filled in as Aunt March's companion, we grew friendlier, and she asked me to go with her.
Joe's not going to like it.
It's not my fault. I didn't ask to go to Europe. I just said yes.
And Joe was in New York for 4 months, not 2 months.
Yes, something like that.
119 days, to be exact.
I've always wanted to go to Europe, to see the architecture, the sculptures, the paintings.
And who is this professor everyone is talking about?
Michelangelo, Raphael, Da Vinci, to stand within inches of their greatness, to walk where they walked.
And she never wrote, not once. That's not like her.
What? What about the professor? Sorry, what about the professor?
Well, the professor Joe met in New York.
Oh, I don't know much about him. He's German and 40.
40? That's old. Well, aren't you listening?
Yes, Blair, I'm listening. Strange? How so?
Well, during the wedding, I leaned over and asked her, does this give you any ideas? She said yes, hit me, and then ran away.
That sounds like Joe.
She needs to learn we're not children.
No, we're not.
She needs to know I am a man.
Well, hiding in her house and jumping out here may not be the best approach.
Amy, what's wrong with me?
With you?
Yes, with me.
Why, boy, there's nothing wrong with you.
Look at me, good and hard.
I'm looking.
Really look.
I'm looking, I'm looking.
Is there something the matter with my face?
No.
My eyes?
No.
Take my hand. And there was something repulsive about holding my hand?
No.
I kissed her once.
You did?
Yes.
What did she do?
She hit me and ran across the room.
That sounds like Joe.
See there? Then what is the matter?
Maybe she doesn't like you.
Seriously, what could it be?
I don't know, Lori. I honestly don't know. Are you going to talk to her?
I'm going to talk to her by the end of the day.
You do that. Would you mind bringing me to Sally's house? We're going shopping for my trip to Europe and I'll need new everything. One cannot travel to the crater of civilization looking like an American.
Sure, Amy. I'll take you. I'm glad you get to New York. I hope you find what you're looking for.
I hope you do too.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you back home, Joe.
I'm so happy to be home. I miss our talks most of all. There's so much I want to talk to you about.
For instance,
Everything. The war. 5 days ago, they said it was over when General Lee surrendered to General Grant. Is it really over?
that's what they're saying.
I hope so.
So do I. Tell me, what do you think of what Meg has done to her and John's home?
It's lovely. I admit I had my doubts about this whole marriage thing, and I barely got through the wedding, but celebrating their 1-year anniversary with them last night was so lovely. I'm so happy for them both.
So am I. So good for you to come back from New York to be with Beth. It was a long winter without you.
Mrs. Kirk was back on her feet, and I needed more here.
Yes, she missed you. So did I. Did you meet any interesting people while you were living at her boarding house?
Yes, some.
There was a professor you wrote quite a bit about in your letters.
Yes, I did. What has the doctor said about that?
It's not good, Joe. It's not good. She's fading fast, and I think that's why she wants to come home.
I was afraid that's what it was.
Be brave for her, Joe. She needs you.
I will.
I think I'll go get Beth now. She seems more comfortable by the fire.
Good morning, Beth. How are you feeling? Good morning, Joe. I'm feeling better.
I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything.
Okay, Martin. Do you miss the Kirk's girls very much? Not really. They were rather spoiled. Besides, I don't think governess. At least not for girls. I'd rather have a house full of boys than 2 snotty girls.
I do think there is somebody in Paris house that you do this.
Oh, Beth, I thought I could count on you not to tease me as the others do.
Joe, I'm not teasing you. I really would like to know more. Your letters made them sound so fascinating.
I'm not sure how much else there is to tell. What do you know about him?
Well, I know that he's 40. He's 40. He's a learned professor. He looks after his 2 nephews. His sister died suddenly after marrying an American, and that's why they live.
Is that all you know about him?
No, I know he's the reason you gave up writing.
I haven't given up writing, just writing for those sensational magazines.
But why? You were making such good money. The witch's curse sent me and Mother to sea.
Yes, and the Duke's daughter put down a new carpet. A phantom hand bought the groceries and gowns, and the curse of the Coventrys paid the butcher's bill. I suppose you want to know why then.
Yes.
I'll tell you the story.
Good, Joe. I love your stories. They make you feel like they're right there next to you.
Picture Professor Bear standing over there.
There?
Yes.
Okay.
It was time for evening lesson in German. He was teaching me German, and I was starting the songs. Before the lesson, he was playing with Mrs. Kirk's girls, as he always does, and he had forgotten to remove a ridiculous paper hat. Can you picture that?
Yes, I can.
I should have said something, but I just sat there smirking at him. Well, he was reading Schiller, and he became annoyed with me. You never want to anger a German while he's reading Schiller.
Miss Marsh, for what do you laugh at your master's face? You find Schiller so amusing? Have you no respect for me?
How can I be respectful, sir, when you have forgotten to remove your hat?
John, I see now it is that Tina who makes me a fool with this. It is nothing, but see here. If this lesson goes badly, it is you that will hurt.
Yes, Professor.
What is this? I didn't notice from what kind of paper Tina made this hoot. I wish these papers did not come to this house. They're not fit for the kinder to see, nor young people to read. It is not good. I would rather give my boys gunpowder to play with than this dribble.
It's not all bad, only silly. And if there is a demand for it, I don't see any harm in supplying it. Many respectable people make an honest living off of what are called sensation stories.
There's demand for whiskey, but I think that you and I do not care to sell it. If these respectable people knew what harm they did, they would not feel that living was honest. They have no right to close in the sugar plum and let the kinder eat it. 9. They should sink a little before they do the sink.
What if I confess to you that I have published stories in these magazines?
I would say that you're making a joke on your own professor. Because I know that you know that your gifts come from God. And the act of creation is a sacred act that God shares only with true artists. When I look into your soul, I see beauty and truth and joy and wisdom. These stories of murders and witches and evil have nothing to do with the beautiful soul that I see before me. So, though it may be possible that you could write this scribble, I know in my heart of hearts that you did so only as a stepping stone to greater creations. Jacques?
Jacques, shall we go on with the lesson, Professor? I'll be good and proper now.
I shall hope so.
After the lesson, I thought about what he said and decided he was right. And I burned all my stories on the spot.
Joe!
I did, and with no regret. Well, maybe a little regret. I tried my hand at morality tales with no luck. Children's stories the same.
How about us?
What about us?
The March family. You could write all about them.
Do you really think anyone would be interested in reading about us?
Joe, you're such a good writer. You can make us sound so much more interesting than we really are.
I don't know about that. Stories about the 4 March sisters. You might be on to it.
Do you miss the professor?
Yes, I'll never forget how he looked the last time I saw him. It was so good of you, Professor, to see me off at the train station, especially when you said goodbye last night.
Last night I said goodbye. Today I want to say Auf Wiedersehen. Do you know the difference?
Yes, goodbye means, well, goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen means, until we meet again. That's much nicer.
Ja. So, going home?
Yes, sir.
You should be happy that you have a home to go to.
You should come visit. I want you to meet my family.
Shall I come then?
Yes, come next month. Lori graduates then, and you'd enjoy the commencement.
This Lori, this is your best friend, of whom you speak about the time of?
Yes, my boy's Eddie. I'm so proud of him.
I'm sorry to say that I won't be able to make the time for that. Wish this friend much success. Oh, and these are for you. The violets are wilted, but when I first bought them this morning, they were not wilted. Some things wilt and some things do not wilt. I wish you all the happiness in the world. God bless you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And with that, he left. I'll never understand what came over him.
I have an idea.
What is it?
Joe, it was the way you spoke, Lori. It was like you had
Nonsense.
the same reason Lori does it. Your face lights up every time you speak.
It does not.
It does, Joe. And you need to tell them how you feel. You know how you feel. If you don't know how you feel, you at least open that to yourself, the professor, and Lori.
Where are you going?
Still no.
What was that for?
A pre-planned signal to your best friend, letting him know that you're ready to talk.
You little sneak. I will not be trapped in a cage like some bird.
I'm afraid you are, Joe. I'll be waiting in the other room to hear all the details.
Oh, you'll get details, all right. I don't have to stand still for this.
Joe,
That was quick.
I've got to talk to you.
No, Teddy, please don't.
It's no use, Joe. We've got to have it out. The sooner the better for both of us.
Speak your piece then. I'll listen.
You will? All right. I'm going to come right out with it.
If you feel you must.
Joe, I've loved you ever since I've known you. You've been so good to me, and I've tried to show it, but I couldn't. You wouldn't let me.
I wanted to say to you this. I thought you'd understand.
I know you did, but girls are so strange. You never know what they mean. They say no and they mean yes. They like to drive a man out of his wits, just for the fun of it.
I don't. I never wanted you to care for me. I even went away to prevent it.
I knew it, but it would only make me love you all the more. I gave up billiards and everything you didn't like, and didn't complain, not once, because I hoped you'd love me, even though I'm not that good enough.
You are. You're a great deal too good for me, and I'm grateful to you. I don't know why I can't love you the way you want me to, but I can't. It would be a lie to say I do when I don't.
Is that how you really feel?
Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm so sorry. I could kill myself if I thought it would do any good. I wish you wouldn't take it so hard. You know it's impossible for people to love another person when they don't.
Sometimes they do.
I don't believe it's the right sort of love, and I'd rather not try it. I want to tell you something.
I've heard all I care to.
You will listen.
I'm supposed to sit here and listen to you talk about that old man?
What old man?
That professor you were always talking about. If you say you love him, I will do something desperate.
First of all, he isn't old or devilish. He's good and kind, wise, and the best friend I have, next to you. I'm trying to be nice, but if you say anything bad about the professor, I am going to box your ears. I don't love him, or anyone else for that matter.
But what happens when you do?
You'll find someone to love too.
Joe, I'll never love anyone else. I will never forget you. Never, ever.
You're not listening to me. I'm trying to do the right thing, and I want you to be happy. I agree with Mother that we are not suited for each other. Our tempers and strong wills would make us very miserable if we were ever foolish enough to...
Married? No, we wouldn't be miserable. Joe, if you loved me, you'd be able to turn me into anything you like.
I can't. I've tried and I've failed, and I won't risk our happiness by such a serious experiment. Do be reasonable, and let us stay good friends.
Reasonable? I don't want to be reasonable. I don't believe you have a heart.
I wish I hadn't. Someday you'll realize I'm right and thank me for it. Where are you going?
Someday you'll see, Joe.
Where are you going?
Off to the devil.
Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry. I didn't think it would end like that.
It's all for the best. I'm going to tell Mr. Lawrence what happened. I opened that.
Will Lori be okay?
He'll be fine.
Is there anything I can do?
While I'm at the neighbor's, I want you to find your saddest piece of music and play it for me when I get back, so it may cry my heart out.
I can do that. Oh, Hannah Bell.
I'll see it later.